Oh my Lanta, I haven't even started my first class and college is already tiring me out. Hey guys, it's Autastix and I got a battle here against my friend Dave. You might know him as KingDaddyDMAC, you might not, but if you don't, you've been living under a rock for the past, I'd say 2 years. So I'm going to lead off with Crustle, he's going to lead off with Heatran. He sets up rocks, I go for the Stone Edge to break his air balloon and try and get some damage on it. I do about 40%, it's a pretty nice chunk. Here I'm thinking he's going to switch out, so I just go for the Stealth Rock. And I'm not sure. Oh yeah, he gets his Toxcorp. I was gonna go for the spikes here. I probably should have been thinking about Taunt, but I don't know. I guess I just spaced. So I'm gonna switch out, and I'm gonna go into Rotom Wash, predicting the obvious Earthquake, and the Earthquake comes, and I don't get hit because of Levitate. So that's nice. So here, since I saw the Taunt, I'm not thinking he's gonna have Protect, so I'm going for Will-O-Wisp to catch him on the switch out. But he does have the Taunt and the Protect, so I'm trying to figure out like what kind of Gliscor he is here. But now I'm going to Pain Split, predicting the Celebi, because I want to see how much damage the Celebi takes from it, so I can try and gauge like what kind of Celebi it is. And right now it's looking like it's about a 342 HP Celebi, so it's probably more of an offensive one. So I'm going to switch in Crustle to try and see how much, what it's going to do. What if it's going to like Nasty Plot, Hidden Power, whatever. And he does go for the Hidden Power Fire, I guess predicting rather Scissor. Here I'm just going to stay in so I can get a free switch into something. He goes for Giga Drain. He gets a crit, but based on how much Hidden Power Fire did, it really didn't matter. And gets himself back up to full health. So here I'm going to switch in Gengar, and I'm predicting him to switch out. So here I go for the Substitute, and he brings in the Heatran, which is good because I've got a sub up, I've got my Gengar, 350 speed, all that. I'm sitting pretty good right now. So I'm going to go for the Focus Blast, and I actually hit a Focus Blast. That's absolutely amazing because, I mean, you're only supposed to miss Focus Blast 30% of the time, but, you know, it just sort of seems like that's how often I hit it. So his Heatran's going to go down, obviously, from the health that it was at, and he's going to bring in Tyranitar. And I know since I have the sub up, he can't get the hit off on me, so I'm just going to go for the Focus Blast, and I'm faster. And since I'm faster and I see the Pursuit, I'm figuring he's Choice Banded, or, like, Choice Band is the most likely thing that he's going to be. So, after he breaks my cell, I'm just going to go for the Disable. And he can't use Pursuit because he's disabled. So I know here he's either got to switch out or he's just got to start struggling. So I'm going to go for the Substitute again, and in comes his Rotom. Oh yeah, I missed a Focus Blast. I don't know if I mentioned it. It's kind of unfortunate, but oh well. So in comes the Rotom. I get the sub up. Rotom's sitting there, it's dancing. I really don't like the way that thing dances. And I'm just going to go for the Shadow Ball. I'm not used to using Gengar without a Life Orb, so I don't know how much it's going to do. And it only does about maybe close to 40%. And that disappointed me. I was hoping it'd do a lot more. I was hoping it'd at least be a 2-hit KO. But it's not without the Sandstorm. So here I'm just going to go for the Shadow Ball to try and get the extra damage. And he goes for the Volt Switch, and he brings me down to just over where Sandstorm would kill me. Sandstorm does 16, I'm at 20, so I'm going to live. He brings in the Excadrill, and I'm like, ugh, fuck my life. Because I do have good counters to this thing. Well, not, counter, Rotom. But I don't want to switch anything in because I don't want to risk him going for the Swords Dance, so I just stay in and I try to get off the Focus Blast, but he predicts that and kills me. So I bring in my Starmie because I'm pretty sure he can't KO with Earthquake, and I was going to go for Ice Beam predicting the Celebi, but I figured I should just play it safe with the Excadrill, go for the Hydro Pump, and get some damage on Celebi anyway, because if he stays in and he doesn't kill me and I go for the Ice Beam and he lives, I'm a lot farther back than I should be. So I'm just going to bring in the Scissor as Death Fodder so I can switch into Lucario. And because he can't do very much to Lucario, I feel it's safe, and Scissor can't do anything to his team that the rest of my team can't. So, in comes Lucario. And I noticed that this Lucario doesn't have Ice Punch, and that really bothers me. Because I didn't salve this myself, I took it from a database. And if it had Ice Punch, this battle would have went it definitely would have went a lot differently. But oh well. So I'm gonna bring in Gertrude because that's the best counter to Gliscor like in existence, unless Gliscor has Toxic or Fling, but I haven't seen one of those in a while. So I feel safe bringing it in against the Gliscor. Oh yeah, so I'm going to bring in Starmie, just sort of his death fodder, sort of see what he's going to do, and he goes for the Protect. Here, I'm thinking I'm going to go for the Tricked, and then maybe trick off his Toxic Orb onto something else, because I do have the Natural Cure, but he gets to Protect the second time, so I've got to switch out, because he's probably going to switch into Celebi or something like that, predicting me to Trick. And he goes into his Rotom, actually, as I go into my Rotom. Now, he gets buffeted by the Sandstorm and just dies. So I guess he gets the switch advantage here, and he does send in the Celebi. So now I'm like, okay, I'm fucked. So I'm just gonna switch out. I'm gonna go into the Starmie, sort of as death fodder, sort of because I kind of have a plan. I can't remember what the plan was, but I distinctly remember having one. He goes for the Recover, predicting my switch out, and leftover, Sandstorm, blah, 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 all that. I go for the Ice Beam. It's going to do about 40%, but I freeze him, so he can't kill me off. And that's first bit of little hacks that goes down here. And so his Celebi's sitting there frozen, and he's like, alright, well, I'm just going to switch out and bring it back in later. And I go for the Ice Beam again, just try and get damage on Tyranitar, because Starmie's not going to do very much at this point, other than maybe trick some things off. And so I get the 2 Ice Beams off, and then he just kills me with Rock Slide. So I'm going to bring in Lucario, because now that I'm, under the impression that he's locked onto Rock Slide, I get the free Swords Dance, and that's cool. And he brings in the Gliscor. Like I said, if I had Ice Punch, my life would be so much easier, but I don't have Ice Punch. So the best thing I can do against this, the most damage I can get, is a resisted close combat at 90, as opposed to Crunch or Extreme Speed at 80. And after the defense drop, even without the defense drop, he'd be able to kill me off with Earthquake, and that's just what he does. So now we're all like, okay, good game, whatever, I lose. It's cool. It's fun. It's all for fun. Dave's one of my better friends in the Pokemon community. I consider him a good friend of mine. And I'm just going to bring in Rotomosh. I'm like, alright, I has plan. He goes for Protect, because I'm thinking that if he switches into Celebi, I can probably crit him with Hydro Pump, because I know a Hydro Pump will kill him with a crit. And we were talking over Skype for this, and he's like hearing me say this. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to switch in now. Well, I don't think he was going to switch in the first place, but oh well. So I just kill off the Gliscor with the Hydro Pump. And he's going to bring in Celebi, and like now we're finalizing the good games. We're saying, alright, good game, cool, whatever. And I go for the Thunderbolt just because I'm like, alright, whatever, I got to do something. And I'm faster than him, and I get the paralysis. And then he gets fully paralyzed, and I'm like, oh shit. Because I think we both just realized that I have about an 80% chance of winning, since I got that ridiculously well-timed Parahax. And I just go for the Hydro Pump, because if it misses, I don't have to feel so bad about paralyzing him. But if it hits, okay. He's going to bring in Tyranitar, and for the first time in a row, ever, I hit 2 Hydro Pumps, and I kill off his Tyranitar. I probably could have gone for the Thunderbolt and done the same thing, but I'm like, alright, so now it's just Excadrill against a Rotom Wash at 170 HP. So, unless Hydro Pump misses, I win. And he goes for the Rock Slide, and he's Life Orb, and I thought this would do a lot less, so I went for the Pain Split to try and be safe and give myself a cushion. I'm like, oh shit, I think I just fucked up, because now we're both on the edge of our seats. We're trying to figure out who's going to win this, and I think I can win this, unless he flinches or crits me or my Hydro Pump misses. He doesn't do either, and my Hydro Pump hits, so I beat him, albeit on hacks, but that was still a good game. It was a fun game. It was an exciting game. He can agree to that.